Middle Tennessee's only primetime news. This is Fox 17 News at 9, your Code Red station.
I don't think it'll ever be 100% again.
Due tonight, an Arkansas family begging the Tennessee Department of Transportation to work harder to fill potholes.
Now this after a motorcycle crash caused by a pothole on Interstate 40 in Humphreys County lands a father and husband in intensive care. Fox 17 News' Kylie Walker now with more from Skyline Medical Center, where the victim in this case, Gordon Guffey, is now being treated.
Over the weekend, I was driving from Arkansas back home to Nashville, and I just so happened to see this accident within seconds of it happening. I was one of the first few cars there. Now, one man was directing traffic as the motorcyclist was in the middle of the road. I was able to call 911 to get the emergency crews out to the scene. And then also there was a semi-truck driver who was sitting with the motorcyclist saying, "Stay with me, brother, stay with me, brother," again and again. It was a very graphic scene until crews arrived. Stephanie Guffey picking up the pieces after her husband's tragic accident.
It's pretty gnarly.
Showing us what remains of his motorcycle and helmet.
Unrecognizable. He was so swollen. I had to look at him twice to see who he was.
Guffey got that dreaded knock at the door from police on Saturday night. This before rushing over to Skyline Medical, where he was life-flighted.
He was still alive when I got there. So that was the main point, that we would be there if something was to go wrong with him. We were there.
Guffey says that her husband suffered severe head trauma, a massive concussion, and a brain bleed.
He has 2 holes in his head. He has 5 broken ribs. He broke a bone in his right hand. He broke his left index finger, broke his nose. He's got road rash on his nose, his chin, his hands.
Guffey worries that her husband will never be the same.
As long as he just comes home to us. If I have to take care of him for the rest of my life, then that's what I'm going to have to do. But I honestly, by the grace of God, believe that he'll be 95%, but I don't think he'll ever be 100% again.
TDOT went out to the area of concern earlier today to fix the roadway in question. It's a spot the state knew was not in great shape.
We were aware that, this was a trouble spot for us. We'd been out there a few times. We'd responded to several requests. And unfortunately, within the last week or so, it had just gotten a lot worse.
Rebecca Hammonds with TDOT says since the winter storm, TDOT has been out to this area 6 different times to temporarily patch the roads. However, they didn't repave it.
It's been our top priority in that area for a while. We just haven't been able to get the okay and the approvals and the crews to get out there and do it.
On Monday, crews completed the milling work, and they plan to repave on Wednesday. Now, earlier today, I was able to visit Mr. Guffey in the hospital. At the time, he was not able to speak or open his eyes. Now, his wife is asking the community to come together through this so that we can see changes moving forward and get these potholes fixed across the state, because she says this could be anyone's son, father, husband, or grandfather. For now, in Nashville, Kylie Walker, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
And to give you a better idea of exactly where this dangerous pothole is, we made a map showing the location relative to Nashville. Well, that crash happened about 70 miles southeast of Nashville here on I-40. It's a little more than an hour drive away from the metro area. If you find a pothole that needs to be fixed, you can report it to the state. We have a link to the maintenance request form online. Just head to our website, fox17.com, and click on Fox Links. Continuing coverage, motorcycle experts weighing in tonight on the dangers of potholes on our local roadways. Lana Grant, the title and registration clerk at Harley-Davidson, who also trains motorcyclists from the ground up, says to always be aware of your surroundings and look ahead. She's known lots of people who have gone down from those potholes.
Follow a car in either the left-hand lane or the right-hand lane, following his tire tracks. So if a car has to swerve, you've got to swerve if you're behind somebody. But looking ahead is really is the best option.
Well, Grant recommends riders wear full face helmets, long sleeve jackets with jeans, and proper shoes.
It has now been 1 month since 15-year-old Sebastian Rogers disappeared from his home near Beach High School in Southern County. An exhaustive search has failed to turn up any evidence, any trace of this teen who has autism. But as Fox 17 News' Kelly Avellino shows us, Roger's father is continuing the search tonight, and he is not alone.
It's my son's favorite color.
Green ribbons and a smile that cannot be mistaken.
His smile lights up the world. He is my heart. If you get to know him, you'll smile all the time. When you see him coming, you'll smile. When you hear his laughter, it's the sun coming through the clouds. He is joy.
But that joy ended a month ago for Seth Rogers, when his son Sebastian is believed to have walked off from his home in the middle of the night. That, according to Sebastian's mother and stepfather, Katie and Chris Proudfoot. Since investigators scaled back their initial ground search to focus more on the investigative side of the case, Rogers says he has not relented in looking for his boy.
Every day. Every day. I have to. To stop looking is to give up hope.
Rogers is now getting help from the United Cajun Navy, an organization that's aided in hundreds of search and rescues and disasters across the country.
Gives me even more hope that the professionals have arrived. The people that are going to lead this, they're going to find my son, and they're going to bring him back to me.
The nonprofit was already in Nashville, helping during the search for missing Mizzou student Riley Strain. Now they'll be coordinating search teams, tracking dogs, and even water searches if necessary for Sebastian. Rogers saying his inquisitive son could be anywhere.
Because knowing him and his curiosity, he might be there. You don't leave any stone unturned.
This, says Sebastian's mother and stepfather, have not been seen in the search efforts. Countless theories about what happened to Sebastian and the family are plastered continually on social media.
Do you have any knowledge whatsoever about your son's disappearance?
I don't. I found out over an hour after his mother found out he was gone. Foul play is still negativity. He's out there. We just got to find him.
Rogers is now calling for more volunteers to help comb Sumner County, he says, beyond the first week's search radius of 5 miles.
We haven't found him yet, so we can't give up hope. We still have to keep looking for him until we find him. We're Sebastian's Army.
I'm Kelly Avellino for Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
If you would like to join that new civilian search effort, go to our website, fox17.com, and click on the story. You'll find a link where you can register. And to see all of our previous reporting on the Rogers case, go to our website and search Sebastian.
Covenant school students will finally be returning to the main campus. Students have not been taking class at the school since the deadly shooting on campus last March. That's when police say a former student, Audrey Hale, shot her way into the school, killing 6 people, including 3 children. Since the shooting, classes relocated to Brentwood Hills Church of Christ, which is about 10 minutes from down the road from Covenant. Students are scheduled to return to their home campus sometime next month. This Wednesday marks the 1-year mark of the shooting. Fox 17 News will have extensive coverage throughout the day, including a half-hour special at 5:30 this Wednesday.
Okay, turning to our weather. I don't know if it's rain. You've been outside. I haven't, but I heard the thunder, Katie.
Yeah, thunder, lightning. We have some showers out there as well already, and we're only expecting winds to increase a little bit as we head through the overnight. So pretty active night for us here. But the main thing I wanted to bring home is the fact that severe weather is not on the table for tonight. So it'll still be an active overnight, rumbles of thunder out there. The wind is going to be the big story. Wind advisory in effect now until 7 a.m. We could find some gusts up to 50 miles per hour as we head closer to about 2 a.m. Scattered rain around, a few moderate to heavy pockets, and we've had a few lightning strikes out there. In fact, I saw one earlier this evening. It lit up the whole sky and it was forked across the sky as well. A nice big cloud to cloud strike. So we'll continue to find thunderstorms around, but again, the severe threat stays to our south. They do have a tornado watch in effect for those in Mississippi tonight. Again, that's where some of the better ingredients are for severe weather. So we're right on that edge of where the better threat for severe weather will be, more to our south and to our west. Still rainy as of right now, and every now and then we'll see some strikes along campus. Wind gusts anywhere between 5 to 20, even 30 miles per hour. Kind of varies right now, but as we head closer to that time frame when the front comes through, that's when we're expecting some of these higher wind gusts to occur. In fact, you can see clearly where the front sits right now, right along the Mississippi River, in fact. So we're looking at gusts anywhere between 25 to 35, even 45 miles per hour. Our higher wind gusts come as we head through the overnight tonight. Wind speeds will be in the 20-mile-per-hour range, sustained, and some of these moderate pockets of rain will be around all the way through tomorrow morning. We'll walk you through future track, timing out the rain. A little later on, too, we'll talk more about the eclipse and your Easter forecast.
Also, we had a new tool in parking enforcement in Metro. Potentially the damage some theory could do to your car.
And Boeing making big changes in the way of several scaring flying incidents. What the airline is changing to hopefully make you feel safer.
State lawmakers are back in session debating everything from school
Developing tonight, Nashville city leaders are considering a new wrinkle in parking enforcement. It's called a barnacle. It puts your vehicle out of commission, sort of like a boot does, but as you will see, it is easier to install and faster to remove.
If you ever see one, you won't forget it. The barnacle is a plastic yellow mat that is affixed to the windshields of cars that are illegally parked with strong suction cups.
It's actually safer for the enforcement individual because it's just it's a fold up. They open up, they put it down, they set it, and then they can go.
If you get busted, you use your phone to scan a QR code on the device, pay your fine, and remove the barnacle. They're already being used in other cities, and metro parking ordinances are being rewritten to allow them here. But there are concerns, among them whether those barnacles could damage windshields.
It has a lot of electronics actually in the windshield itself or attached to that windshield. I would be a little concerned with allowing someone to place something on a car.
It's not supposed to cause damage, but the language the Transportation Licensing Commission is considering includes requiring the companies that use them to be licensed by the city and insured in case of damage. There's also talk of allowing a 15-minute grace period before a barnacle could be attached. Parking companies are opposed.
Anyone can make a claim, hey, I was only here for 15 minutes. You can't boot me or charge me, so it's not in the best interest of the park and the owner to allow the 15-minute grace period.
Downtown Councilman Jacob Coupin will be one of the sponsors when this goes before Metro Council. He likes the idea primarily because if you get a barnacle, you're back on your way within minutes.
Now, this parking ordinance rewrite would also renew the permits of local parking companies annually, all at the same time. The TLC is expected to have another public hearing on this before recommending any changes to Metro Council.
Meantime, Boeing CEO Dave Calhoun stepping down from the plane manufacturing company after the viral incident of the door ripping off a plane in midair. Calhoun says it's his time to step down and help the next leader take over Boeing. Fox News correspondent Dan Springer has more on the story coming up from Seattle.
Boeing president and CEO Dave Calhoun says he is stepping down.
Why now? I've entered my 5th year. At the end of this year, I'll be close to 68 years old.
Calhoun's announcement coming after a string of scares in the sky, multiple involving Boeing 737 MAX planes. Back in January, a door plug flew off the plane, terrifying passengers on an Alaska Airlines flight. And in 2018 and 2019, before Calhoun was CEO, 2 deadly crashes off the coast of Indonesia and in Ethiopia left more than 300 people dead.
They have not done anything to repair the problems, improve morale, change the culture.
These incidents, plus other close calls, have prompted the Federal Aviation Administration and Congress to scrutinize the flying industry. The FAA even paused Boeing's expansion of its 737 MAX planes and found that the company had quality control issues.
This should be able to be brought under control. I'm hoping the carriers have the backstop of excellent maintenance programs to provide comfort of the public.
Wall Street is also keeping an eye on the embattled company, while Boeing's new chairman, Stephen Mollenkopf, will spearhead the search for Calhoun's replacement.
Management is the single most important thing that we pay attention to. It's our top fundamental factor that we analyze along with catalyst for outperformance.
Dave Calhoun says he will continue to lead Boeing until the end of this year to set the company up for the future. In Seattle, Dan Springer, Fox News.
Weather-wise, it has been windy for days, and that has really dried things out. So in a way, the rain's going to at least help with that in terms of fire conditions.
Yeah, fire and danger has been a problem for us, and yeah, the rain will definitely be good for us. Something that you need every now and then, and we're seeing a lot of it at the moment here. Scattered showers pushing through. We had one batch move through Nashville, and we have another one coming in from the south and west. Rumbles of thunder, a few strikes of lightning you can see there from our strike count. Moving up a little bit more to the north and east of Nashville, you can see those showers starting to fill in for places like Macon, Trousdale, Smith counties, and up into southern Kentucky as well. Windy conditions too as we head through not only the overnight but into tomorrow. Our trash can scale here is going to be down the street. Possibly if it's out this evening. Again, those gusts could be as high as 40 miles per hour as we head through the overnight hours. So again, make sure that you're securing anything that is loose outside, or if you can, just bring it indoors for the overnight. Here are some of those gusts that are forecast through the overnight. And again, I would say between about 1 and 2 a.m. That'll be about the time frame that we're looking at some of these higher gusts to be around. Notice that they don't come down all the way, but we'll continue to at least see some minor gusts, we'll call them, up to about 20, 25, but nothing like what we'll have as we head through the overnight hours. So breezy winds will still be around as we head through the day on Tuesday. Showers will be pushing through as well as we head into lunchtime tomorrow. The front will finally clear. That's going to take a lot of the rain with it, and we're left with drying skies as we head through Tuesday night into Wednesday and into Thursday too. So high pressure will build in, and that is going to set the stage for a pretty nice couple of days. Cool, but sunny, and that sunshine will be around all the way through the end of the week and into the beginning of the weekend. A little bit closer to home, you can see showers are pushing through now. We'll continue to see that through midnight tonight, and then that main line arriving just after 1 to 2 a.m. Scattered rain will continue here. And again, mentioning earlier that severe weather will not be on the table for us for tonight. So that's good news, but still making sure you have those ways to stay alert. It's always a good idea when we have showers and storms through the overnight, especially too when we're looking at some gusty winds out there. Through tomorrow morning, we'll continue to see that line pushing east toward the plateau in the late morning hours, and then eventually clearing as we head towards the later half of the day. We'll see cloud cover moving out with it, and eventually looking at a mainly clear sky going into early Wednesday morning. How much rain could we find out of this batch coming through? What we'll likely see with the main line as it pushes in is a quick burst of rainfall. So it'll be a quick accumulation, but anywhere between a ½ inch up to about 1 inch looks possible for us as we head through much of Tuesday early morning. More on your Easter forecast, that coming up a little later.
Is that in your background said former U.S. Marine. You can trust them. I knew when you'd say something to me, I didn't have to wonder if you were telling me the truth.
New tonight, when former President Donald Trump woke up this morning, the bond required to appeal his New York civil fraud case was $545 million, and the deadline to pay that was today. But an appeals court reducing that amount now to $175 million. Still a great deal, but it's also giving him more time before the state's attorney can start seizing Mr. Trump's assets. Fox 17 News' Janae Bowens now with a look at the political ramifications.
Former President Donald Trump is celebrating a lower bond and an extension in his civil business fraud case.
I thank the appellate division for acting quickly, but Judge Engoron is a disgrace to this country, and this should not be allowed to happen.
Trump owed nearly $500 million, but he received a reprieve from a New York appeals court and now has 10 days to post $175 million.
I'll post either $175 million in cash or bonds or security or whatever is necessary very quickly within the 10 days.
It's a compromise.
For the Trump legal team, I think they will view this as a victory.
It's less of a concern for now, but failure to pay up could result in some serious consequences.
We will ask the judge to seize his assets.
However, seizing Trump's assets is a move political experts say would help Trump.
You're going to create the greatest victimhood of 2024, and you're going to elect Donald Trump.
I think there would have been serious questions in the public's mind about the fairness of that.
Trump faces several criminal cases. Even still, 538's polling average shows Trump's approval rating is higher than President Joe Biden's.
Former President Trump has been very good at using all of these cases to his political benefit. He's always on the courthouse steps. He's always responding to these cases. He's used it very effectively to rally his supporters.
Meanwhile, a judge said on Monday Trump's first criminal trial over hush money paid to porn actress Stormy Daniels will start on April 15th. Trump says the trial before November is election interference. In Washington, I'm Janae Bowens.
Well, we want to know what you think. Was the bond reduction in Donald Trump's civil fraud case appropriate? This poll is live right now. Just over 700 votes have come in. 71.2% of respondents say yes. 28.8% say no. This poll is live right now. We'd love to get your opinion on this. You can scan the QR code right there on the right hand of your screen. It will take you to our X page where you can weigh in, and we'll show you updated poll results here a little later in the newscast.
Just ahead, a bill to end white bagging at clinics and hospitals. How it would give you
Get up to $250 on the house. Oak Grove Racing, Gaming, and Hotel. All kinds of awesome.
This Fox 17 newscast is sponsored by B.F. Myers Furniture.
In your health news tonight, spring allergies are moving in with the changing seasons, and to help us navigate that, we have Dr. Bill Maynard, internal medicine physician at TriStar Centennial. Dr. Maynard, thanks so much for joining us tonight.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Well, the pollen count has skyrocketed, and I even checked today's report. It's high for cedar pine, sweet gum, and birch. You know, some people really struggle with this.
You know, it's a yearly phenomenon, and for some people, of course, it's all through the year, but we're dealing right now with these what we call seasonal allergies, and it doesn't take a rocket scientist in some ways to figure out that the pollen count is high. You just walk out to your car and you see that nice golden green haze. And of course, you, as a physician, I see people coming in immediately, and it just correlates 1-to-1 with the pollen count.
Yeah, and certainly been an adjustment for a lot of people who are new to Tennessee. This is maybe their first spring, so a little bit of shell shock for them. What do you suggest as a doctor that folks do if they do suffer from these seasonal allergies?
Well, you know, the first principle of dealing with allergies is really the same as the first principle of dealing with almost any illness at all, and that is to avoid getting sick. It's easier to avoid or prevent an illness than it is to treat an illness. So if you think of allergies, well, right now it's pollen. We're dealing with tree pollen. Later in the summer, it's grass pollen, and then in the fall, it's the weed pollen. But right now, it's trees. Obviously, the easiest thing to do, it's easier said than done, is to avoid going outside. The pollen is outside, it's in the air, and you can avoid even certain situations. If you know what you're allergic to, you can check the pollen counts on the news or the internet and avoid going out that day. Avoid opening your windows because pollen is airborne. It's a very light substance that's borne on the wind. Some days are worse than others. For example, dry, warm, windy days are the worst. You want to avoid going outside on those days. And if you have to go outside and you really suffer from the allergies, then you can wear a mask. And even simple things like changing clothes when you come in from outside, or even taking a shower, because that stuff is all over you when you come in from outside. And taking a shower can reduce your exposure to the pollen and thereby prevent the allergic reaction.
Yeah, gosh, your heart goes out to the folks that have to work outside or have to be out there and kind of have to deal with this. Anything that they can take over the counter to lessen the effects?
You know, our options for treating these allergies over the counter have really, if you'll pardon the play on words, blossomed in the last couple of years. And I think that overall, they're safer than they used to be, fewer side effects. So yes, the general principles of treating allergies are there are the nose sprays, the steroid nose sprays, things like Flonase and Nasonex, and there are plenty of generic versions of those available as well, depending on which pharmacy you go to. That's the overall most effective class of medication because it treats the broadest spectrum of the symptoms, including congestion, sneezing, runny nose, itchy eyes, and things like that. But the newer antihistamines like like Allegra, Claritin, Zyrtec, Xyzal, Clarinex, and again, lots of generics available of those medications. They are safe, they have very few side effects, and they tend to be pretty effective, though they're not quite as effective as the other class of medications that I mentioned.
All right, great. Thank you for that advice. And of course, always see a specialist if need be. Thank you so much, Dr. Maynard.
My pleasure.
In consumer news tonight, the state Senate is scheduled to take up a bill later this week that could make it easy for seriously ill people to get the medication that they desperately need. The measure targets a process called white bagging. That's essentially when insurance companies force hospitals and clinics to get your medicine from select pharmacies, their pharmacies, in some cases pharmacies owned by the insurance company.
It allows providers to spend time caring for their patients, and it protects patients by requiring coverage of their medication at the same level, regardless of where their medication is sourced.
Now, this bill has already passed the House, the best explanation coming from that hearing. The Senate Commerce and Labor Committee is scheduled to take this bill up on Wednesday. Katie?
Scott, we continue to monitor some showers and thunderstorms that are marching through now. This all ahead of the main line, which will roll through overnight tonight, bringing us some pretty gusty winds. It's been pretty windy all day, but we'll see more wind as we head through the overnight, along with some heavy pockets of rain. You can see where the tornado watch is in effect well south of us, and that's where the severe weather threat will stay as we head through the overnight. However, with these winds as high as 45 to 50 mile per hour gusts at times, it could bring a few trees down and or some power poles. So it's possible we could have a couple power outages. I'm not expecting a lot of power problems, but a few may be possible here. And this is kind of a good indication. These are the current power outages by county. And you can see on the map here, this is less than 10% everywhere that you see blue. The yellow indicates a 20% of the county without power at this time. That's more south, again, where the stronger thunderstorms are for now. But we're looking at some scattered power outages out towards the Mississippi River, including the Memphis area. And that's going to be where some of those stronger wind gusts are at the moment. So it's possible we could have a couple as we head through the overnight. Best thing you can do is go ahead and prepare and make sure that cell phone is charged before you go to bed. We'll have more on the Easter Sunday forecast. That coming up. Megan.
Thank you, Katie. Hundreds of sexual assault cases in the military sparking big changes. What they're doing to keep servicemen and women safe.
Some did it, some not, but all with big savings. Town and Country Ford in Madison.
This Fox 17 newscast is sponsored by Eurostone.
Congress avoided a potential government shutdown late last week by passing a sweeping $1.2 trillion spending bill. Well, now critics are digging into that massive package. Fox 17 News' Kayla Gaskins joins us from Capitol Hill with more on that finding. And you can vote on this issue by scanning the QR code that will appear on your screen during the story.
Buried into the newly passed $1.2 trillion spending bill, millions of taxpayer dollars earmarked for about 1,400 pet political projects.
It's the Mary Poppins method of governing, that a spoonful of sugar will help the medicine go down, that Congress needs a little bit of corruption to pass these massive spending bills.
Mike Pence's organization, Advancing American Freedom, shedding light on the hundreds of millions tucked into the bill to promote what critics call woke policies, like $200 million for gender, equity, and equality action, and $1.8 million earmarked by Rhode Island Senators Jack Reed and Sheldon Whitehouse for a hospital system that conservatives say provides late-term abortions.
American taxpayers should not be used as a political piggy bank.
$400,000 from the bill requested by New Jersey Senators Cory Booker and Bob Menendez funds a program giving out free gender-affirming clothing like chest binders. Florida Senator Rick Scott calling the earmarks a total slap in the face to hardworking Americans. Republicans, though, did secure their own large earmarks for less controversial recipients like hospital emergency rooms and colleges. For instance, South Carolina Republican Senator Lindsey Graham took credit for steering $71 million towards organizations in his state. Critics like Senator Mike Lee arguing these earmarks were pushed through because leadership unveiled the details in the dead of night.
For the rest of us who didn't see it until 2:30 a.m. this morning, and for the 330 million Americans out there who will have to pay for this stuff, that's not adequate notice.
The House even waived their own 72-hour rule to expedite the passage.
A majority of House Republicans voted against this bill, causing some lawmakers in House Speaker Mike Johnson's own party, like Marjorie Taylor Greene, to threaten his speakership. I'm Kayla Gaskins reporting.
Now, during this story, we had a QR code up linking you to a poll asking if you think Congress should stop setting aside money for members' pet projects. You see the numbers, 336 people weighing in. A whopping 92% say yes, they should stop that practice. Only 8% said no. Our thanks to all who cast a vote.
Coming up, talking more about your Easter Sunday forecast and a little more information on the partial eclipse here in Nashville and the total solar eclipse that's happening in a few weeks.
And nearly 9,000 service members say they were victims of sexual assault last year. Up next, what the military.
RP on select 2024 Ram 1500 trucks. Visit your local Ram dealer today.
This Fox 17 This Morning newscast is sponsored by Electronic Express. We make it happen.
New tonight, a bill that would increase the penalty for making a threat of mass violence against a Tennessee school takes an important step forward. This bill would likely cover the threat that shut down Christ Presbyterian Academy today. School leaders there canceled classes for the entire day after receiving a disturbing message regarding school safety over the weekend. This measure passed the State House today with heavy bipartisan support.
It increases the penalty from a Class A misdemeanor to a Class C felony. All the amendment does is make this section not apply to a person with intellectual disabilities.
This bill is up for a vote tomorrow in the powerful State Senate Judiciary Committee.
Meantime, the U.S. military is changing how it handles cases of sexual assault. It's being called the biggest overhaul in the military justice system since 1950. Spotlight on America has been reporting on the issue for years, with survivors saying the former system was biased against them. Fox 17 News' Atra El-Nashar reports that it remains to be seen whether the new system will ensure justice.
I think the biggest betrayal and assault is not actually by the perpetrator, it was by the military.
Erin Scanlon's accused rapist was part of an elite military unit. She filed criminal charges with police, but the military took over the case and later found him not guilty.
There's no accountability.
Sasha Georgettis reported a sexual assault to her Navy boss.
His response to me was, "He's a really good sailor. Do you want to ruin his career?"
Her alleged attacker was never even disciplined. Through years of reporting, Spotlight on America has spoken with service members who say they were victimized not only by the person who sexually assaulted them, but an institution they trusted. By design, throughout history, sexual assault cases were handled in-house by military bosses. It's something Josh Connolly, Senior Vice President of Protect Our Defenders, has been fighting against for years.
It's like having a CEO of a company decide the legal path a sexual assault or harassment takes of two employees. That sounds absurd, but that's literally what's been happening in our military.
He says the system made it impossible for many survivors to get justice.
That makes me wonder if that mindset, that culture, enabled perpetrators to feel that they could get away with sexual assault.
100%. The predatory behavior, the criminal behavior was reinforced by the chain of command.
Now, a monumental shift in the landscape is meant to change that. Last summer, the Biden administration signed an executive order transferring authority in sexual assault cases to independent military prosecutors. The Pentagon says 160 are already on the job, with plans to get closer to 200 in the next year and a half. It's being called the most significant transformation of the military justice system since 1950.
You shouldn't be treated differently as a victim or a perpetrator if you're in the military or if you're in the civilian context.
In December, the Army's choice to be the top independent prosecutor, Warren Wells, was removed from the post after a 10-year-old email surfaced that appeared to doubt victims' accounts, referencing false allegations and sobriety regret.
We have a good policy that we fight for, and then the military puts in place the exact wrong person.
And critics say calls into question whether the new prosecutors have been properly vetted. For Connolly, the success of the system remains to be seen, with justice and national security hanging in the balance.
And then once people are in the military, if they're subject to harassment and assault, obviously they're not going to want to stay. And of course they leave, which does a disservice to our military, but also our national security.
So how do we know that this will actually work?
We want the appropriate cases to come forward, which will hopefully result in more convictions.
For Spotlight on America, I'm Atra El-Nashar.
All right, I know we're in for a blow tonight. The question is tomorrow a complete washout, Katie?
No, I think a lot of this is coming through overnight tonight and should clear by midday tomorrow.
It's my favorite kind of weather.
Yeah, so a lot of this will be going on this evening. We are already looking at quite a few pockets of rain pushing through. One pushing into Rutherford County right now. This one actually has quite a bit of lightning associated with it, so I'm going to put a quick track on it. Moving at about 40 miles per hour puts it in Murfreesboro, downtown Murfreesboro and MTSU, and about 13 to 15 minutes from now. So again, these showers and storms will continue as we go through the evening hours tonight. Rumbles of thunder definitely possible, but I do not see severe weather as we head through the overnight hours for us tonight. So things looking fairly quiet from our South Nashville camera. Every now and then we've seen some strikes of lightning out there. But again, it may be one of those nights that wakes you up, but severe weather stays south. Gusty winds will continue to be one of our main concerns. I want to switch focuses here just for a second because we are 2 weeks out from the total solar eclipse that is going to be going on just to our north and west. We're still going to be getting a pretty neat view, a partial eclipse that will happen here in Nashville. Now, this is not going to be like 2017. I don't want you to think that it's going to get dark in the middle of daytime because it will not. Even 99% of the sun covered won't be that spectacular. You have to get to totality to see the darkness in the middle of daytime, but you can still see the partial here. We are at 95% covered, and that begins here in Nashville at 12:44 with max coverage at 2:03 and ends at 3:20. Remember, you do need protective eyewear or an indirect way to watch the partial solar eclipse that'll be going on here in town. Now, the total solar eclipse is going to be, again, just to our north and west. If you have the ways and means to do this on April 8th, I highly suggest getting to totality. So if you have a plan, maybe to pick out a few cities that are within the path, do it, and you'll enjoy it, especially if you didn't get to see it in 2017. But of course, remember, the weather has to be clear, right? So we're really hoping for nice weather on April 8th. Just for fun, for us here, the last total solar eclipse we had was in 2017. The next one in Nashville will be on August 16th, 2566. Case in point, get to totality if you want to see the total solar eclipse. Here's a look at your 7-day forecast. We'll see those temperatures drop a little bit here for Wednesday and Thursday to the 60s, back to the mid to upper 70s as we head towards Easter weekend.
Thank you, Katie. Just ahead, why the state just says no to open burning this time of year and when the burn ban will be lifted.
And the court's giving former President Trump a financial break. Up next, we'll see what you think about that key ruling today.
This Fox 17 newscast is sponsored by Eurostone.
The best Detroit-style pizza comes.
Our wildfire risk. Now, because of that, the state is now reminding all of us that burn permits are required across the state through May the 15th. Now, that applies to all open burning in areas where local restrictions don't apply. The Ag Department's Division of Forestry says to avoid burning leaves or anything else when it's windy and the humidity is low like it is right now. Burn permits, by the way, are free. You can get them both online and by phone.
Well, earlier in our newscast, we told you about our live poll on X right now, asking the question, was the bond reduction in Donald Trump's civil fraud case appropriate? 745 votes have come in, so a few more people have joined the conversation, and 72.2% of respondents say yes, it was appropriate. 27.8% say no. We'll have another update for you on these numbers tonight on Fox 17 News at 10. Each night, look for a new poll on our X page that you can take part in.
Just ahead, a study on the effectiveness of CBD, why British...
Get in and get away now before these deals are gone. Lease an Elantra for $179 a month or get 4.49% APR for $1,000 bonus cash. Visit your local Hyundai dealer today.
In your medical news tonight, new research indicates there's no evidence CBD products do anything to reduce chronic pain.
Now, interestingly enough, British researchers actually concluded it's a waste of money and potentially harmful to your health. CBD is one of many chemicals found naturally in the cannabis plant. It is sold in the forms of oils, creams, and edibles. Findings from 16 randomized trials find that the effectiveness was comparable to a placebo pill and could even have harmful side effects, including liver damage.
This is Fox 17 News at 10, your Code Red station.
New tonight, a plea for help after a motorcyclist is airlifted to a Nashville hospital after he hit a pothole on I-40 and crashed in Humphreys County over the weekend.
61-year-old Gordon Guffey, the victim, sustained severe injuries. He remains in intensive care here in town at Skyline Medical Center. His wife, Stephanie, fears her husband will never be the same.
She says that he suffered severe head trauma, a massive concussion, and a brain bleed, along with several broken bones and bruised lungs.
As long as he just comes home to us. If I have to take care of him for the rest of my life, then that's what I'm going to have to do. But I honestly, by the grace of God, believe that he'll be 95%, but I don't think he'll ever be 100% again.
TDOT says since the winter storms, crews have been out to this area 6 different times to temporarily add patching to the roads, but not repave it. Today, they completed milling work on the troubled area, and they do plan to repave that portion of the road on Wednesday.
It's a split-second decision. Riding a motorcycle is a split-second decision.
Continuing coverage now on a local motorcycle expert weighing in on the dangers of potholes on mid-state roads. Lana Grant, who trains new riders and handles titles and registrations at Boswell's Harley-Davidson here in town, says riders always have to be aware of their surroundings and be looking ahead. She says she has known a lot of people who have gone down after hitting potholes.
Follow a car in either the left-hand lane or the right-hand lane, following his tire tracks. So if a car has to swerve, you've got to swerve if you're behind somebody. But looking ahead is really is the best option.
Now, because of the inherent danger, Grant recommends that riders wear full face helmets, long sleeve jackets, along with jeans and proper shoes.
To give you a better idea of exactly where that problem pothole is from the story we told you about earlier, we made a map showing the location relative to Nashville. That crash happened about 70 miles southeast of Nashville here on I-40. It's a little over an hour drive from the metro. If you find a pothole that needs to be fixed, you can report it to the state. In fact, we've put a link to the maintenance request form online to make it all easy for you. Just go to our website, fox17.com, and click on Fox Links.
Developing tonight, a brand new tool being considered to keep Nashville drivers from parking illegally. It's easier to install than a boot you may be familiar with, and city leaders are in the process of rewriting parking laws to allow them here. The device in question is called a barnacle. This is what it looks like, yellow plastic cover that is essentially stuck on offenders' windshields with giant suction cups. Now, to get them off, you scan a QR code with your phone, pay a fine with your credit card. They give you a code and then you can remove the barnacle. They would only be used in private pay parking lots, and the Metro Transportation Licensing Commission is considering a grace period, but parking lot owners are against that.
As for the grace period, I say give them 5 minutes. If you got to run in and do your mail and get out, that's all you need.
Well, the final language to allow and regulate barnacles in Nashville still being finalized. There will be another public hearing before the Transportation Licensing Commission makes a recommendation for change to the Metro Council.
As we head through the overnight, it's been breezy all day. We can expect strong winds as we head through the overnight hours, 20 to 30 miles per hour. Gusts could be up to 45, possibly 50 as we get closer to the front pushing through. Wind advisory now in effect until 7 a.m. And we'll see rain along with some thunderstorms around as well. The good news is severe weather does not look to be on the table for us tonight. The better ingredients for severe thunderstorms stay to our south and to our west. In fact, we'll zoom out and you can see we're easily looking at more intense showers here for severe thunderstorms. We'll continue, though, to see rumbles of thunder, or at least hear thunder through the overnight. And there you can see our severe weather outlook, all of it staying to the south and to the west for this evening. Wind gusts right now anywhere between 10 to 20, even up to 40 miles per hour in Tullahoma at the moment. So they do vary. And notice the winds all coming out of the south and the east. As we head into the overnight, again, can expect those wind gusts to be around. In fact, picking up in speed as we head closer to, I'd say 2, 3, maybe 4 a.m. in some spots. And then rain chances will remain throughout the middle of the morning hours here. The different colors here indicate the intensity of the rain. So green indicating some light rain, more heavy rain in yellow and in orange that you see there. So we'll look at a pretty active overnight through the middle of the, I'd say, first half of the day for Tuesday. We'll talk more about future track and walk you through an hour-by-hour look. That coming up. Megan.
Thank you, Katie. Now to Operation Crime and Justice. A Tennessee State University professor facing charges after allegedly exposing himself and using obscenities on his neighbor's security cameras. Brian Nagy shares property lines with the two victims and was allegedly caught several times exposing himself on their doorbell cameras. Both victims identified the suspect in the videos. That's all according to the affidavit. Nagy is facing stalking and indecent exposure charges. TSU says it is aware of the situation and Nagy will go on paid administrative leave pending the investigation.
Making headlines tonight, former President Donald Trump getting a legal and a financial lifeline today. A New York appeals court reducing the amount of money Mr. Trump will have to post essentially to appeal his business fraud conviction in New York. Now he only has to put up $175 million with 10 more days to pay that to keep prosecutors from seizing his assets. A lower court had set the number at $454 million. The former president says he respects the appellate court's decision and he intends to pay. Earlier in the newscast, we told you about our X poll asking whether you think the bond in the Trump fraud appeal is appropriate. 753 people weighing in now, and almost 3/4, 72.5% say yes, we think that is appropriate. Or the reduction is appropriate, I should say. Look for a new poll on our Fox 17 X page for you tomorrow night.
To an update tonight, turbulence in America's aviation industry. Boeing CEO says he's leaving the company by the end of the year. This as the FAA says it's increasing its presence in United Airlines operations more closely, looking at workflows, manuals, and facilities amid rising in-flight safety incidents. Laura Aguilar has more on the fast-moving changes rocking the air industry.
We don't put airplanes in the air that we don't have 100% confidence in.
That was Boeing President and CEO Dave Calhoun back in January, after assuring lawmakers on Capitol Hill of Boeing's commitment to safety and transparency. Now Calhoun says he's stepping down, along with two other top Boeing execs, by year's end. In a letter to employees Monday, Calhoun called the Alaska Airlines accident a watershed moment for Boeing, saying the company must continue to respond to the accident with humility and complete transparency. The Alaska Airlines door plug blowout in January is just one of several high-profile Boeing-related flight mishaps so far this year. Calhoun told employees that during this transition, Boeing will remain squarely focused on returning the company to stability after extraordinary challenges in recent years. Over the weekend, the FAA announced it's increasing its oversight of United, Boeing's largest U.S. customer, to ensure that the airline is complying with safety regulations, identifying hazards, and mitigating risk. A move that could impact United's future plans and decisions.
Whether to drop or expand a route, whether to increase the number of flights to a city, those kinds of decisions may be pushed back.
While that may not cause delays for current routes, it could mean the busier high-demand routes may not offer more options to passengers anytime soon. I'm Laura Aguirre reporting.
Continuing the investigation, what we have learned about Friday's terror attack that killed more than 100 people in Russia.
And almost 2/3 of fourth graders here in the U.S. struggle to read at grade level. That's why Fox 17 and our parent company, Sinclair Broadcasting.
The Big Bang Theory. Tomorrow at 6 on Fox 17.
This Fox 17 newscast is sponsored by Tennessee Homebuyers.
Continuing coverage tonight as investigations into Friday's terror attack at a Russian concert hall intensify.
As Fox News' Chris DeMia reports, at least 137 people were killed, over 180 injured.
The Russian flag flying at half-mast over the Kremlin as mourners across Russia bring flowers to makeshift memorial, honoring the more than 130 people killed during Friday's deadly terror attack at a crowded concert hall in Moscow. You can hear gunfire ringing out in this footage from the fateful night as terrified people tried to escape to safety. Attackers also set the facility on fire, adding to the chaos.
Bang, pause, bang, pause. It sounded very familiar to some kind of fireworks somewhere in the distance. And then there was gunfire, and the sound became more and more persistent, closer, closer, and closer to the hall.
Sunday, 4 suspects were brought to court and charged with terrorism. The men appearing to show signs that they were beaten prior to their arrival are from Tajikistan, which borders Afghanistan. And the men were arrested near Russia's border with Ukraine. While ISIS has claimed responsibility for the attack, Russian President Vladimir Putin suggested Ukraine is linked to the violence, prompting swift responses from the Biden administration, which says there is no evidence Ukraine was involved.
Instead of dealing with his Russian citizens and addressing them, Putin was silent for the whole day, thinking about how to link it to Ukraine. Everything is completely predictable.
Meanwhile, emergency teams continue removing rubble from the concert hall as dogs search for any remaining victims.
It is a terrible tragedy, and we are here to honor the memory of all of the victims. And I must say that we are together with you.
7 other people believed to be connected to the attack have also been captured. Officials are still trying to determine if anyone else was involved. Chris DeMeo, Fox News.
Just ahead, a chance to change the balance of power in Congress. Why victory will not.
Jeep Wrangler Sport. Don't miss this great offer. Visit your local Jeep dealer today.
In politics tonight, with control of the U.S. Senate on the line in November, new polling indicates voters in deep blue Maryland heavily favor Republican Larry Hogan over his potential Democratic rivals.
But as Fox News' Mark Meredith shows us tonight, actually carving a path to victory will not be easy.
Well, thank you so much.
Republican Senate candidate Larry Hogan is surging in Maryland, a state traditionally dominated by Democrats. A new Washington Post University of Maryland poll shows Hogan, a twice-elected governor and vocal Trump critic, far ahead of 2 high-profile Democrats in a race which could decide the Senate's balance of power.
It's a very tough race for him, but he's also, continued to have, high approval ratings among Marylanders throughout his time in office.
Hogan tells Fox he's not celebrating yet, writing, "I am always humbled by the support of Marylanders, but make no mistake, we are the underdogs in this race." Democratic Congressman David Trone and County Executive Angela Alsobrooks are locked in a close battle to challenge Hogan this fall. Both are vying for the seat held by outgoing Democratic Senator Ben Cardin.
I've got exciting news. I'm here with my friend Angela Alsobrooks.
Today, Maryland Congressman Jamie Raskin endorsed Alsobrooks. So have 5 black lawmakers. Their endorsement coming 4 days after Trone,
it's just completely faulty,
said a racial slur during a House hearing. Trone says he instead meant to say bugaboo, which means an imaginary monster. In an apology statement, he adds, "I recognize that as a white man, I have privilege, and as an elected official, I have a responsibility for the words I use, especially in the heat of the moment." The Trone campaign is ready to spend big money to boost its image. Ad Impact, which looks at political spending, says Trone is set to spend at least $28 million on ads in the primary cycle alone. Maryland voters get the final say, though. The primary is going to be held in mid-May. In Washington, Mark Meredith, Fox News.
Making headlines in Florida, Governor Ron DeSantis signing a bill restricting minors from using social media. The legislation bans children under the age of 14 from opening social media accounts and requires 15 and 16-year-olds receive parental permission. The measure focuses on what lawmakers call addictive features like notification alerts and autoplay videos. Those in support of the measure say it will protect children online.
You can have a kid in the house, safe seemingly, and then you have predators that can get right in there into your own home. You could be doing everything right, but they know how to get and manipulate these different platforms.
Critics argue the legislation is unconstitutional and that it interferes with parental rights. It's expected to face legal challenges, including from big tech industry. If it withstands the challenges, the law will take effect January 1st.
Storming conditions as we head through the overnight tonight and into tomorrow morning. Live look here actually from our South Nashville camera, and you can see visibility reduced as we've got scattered showers and a few rumbles of thunder that are around at this moment here. So as we go through the overnight and into tomorrow morning, it's going to be windy. So we're breaking out our trash can meter here. Down the street is where it could potentially be if we get a couple of those high wind gusts that are forecasted for the overnight. And we're expecting those highest wind gusts to occur between now and about 3 a.m., probably close to the 1 to 3 a.m. time frame here in Nashville. So still expecting pretty breezy conditions here as we head through the overnight. In fact, our future gusts take us just before 3 a.m. to 45 miles per hour. And from there, you can see they do die down more into that 20 mile per hour range, and will maintain wind gusts about 20 to 25 throughout the day on Tuesday. So we take a look at our forecast here. Future track will push the front through as we head into the afternoon hours tomorrow. Until then, we keep skies overcast with some of these spotty showers around. The more intense rainfall, though, will happen overnight while you're sleeping. We clear out. We are going to cool down as well for Wednesday and even Thursday, a slightly cool. But we'll find at least high pressure around, and that's going to keep skies nice and sunny. So really the only active day that we have for the 7 days that the 7-day forecast that we have ahead. Showers will be around, rumbles of thunder. Severe weather stays to the southwest of us, more in Mississippi for the overnight. Here's 12 midnight, and notice that we've got a nice line of showers that'll be pushing through. This will be the time frame that we're looking at some of those higher wind gusts as well. And we'll continue to find the rain push toward the plateau as we head towards the morning hours. Here's 10 a.m. Still seeing some lingering rain for places like McMinnville, Tullahoma, Cookeville, Nashville, looking at mostly cloudy skies at this point. And then we'll finally begin to clear out as we head into Tuesday night, early Wednesday morning. Making way for a pretty nice week ahead. Lots of sunshine. Temperatures stay in the low 60s for Wednesday and Thursday, but we warm nicely as we head towards Friday and into the Easter weekend. Temperatures in the mid 70s both days, including Easter Sunday with a high around 75.
Weather Window, presented by the National Weather Desk.
Tens of thousands of homes and businesses remain without power following a weekend snow and ice storm in Maine, while another storm left portions of Wisconsin under more than a foot of snow. There are no injuries after a tornado struck the Texas Panhandle on Sunday, but it did damage a hospital. And these are dramatic shots of the full worm moon over the Sierra Nevada mountains near Reno.
Want to see your weather photos and videos on TV? Click Chime In on this station's website to share.
And you can see more weather stories like this every day, weekdays that is, on the National Weather Desk starting at 8 a.m. over on our sister station.
Plus give you an extra 10% during our anniversary sale, going on now at all 3 Lazy Boy locations.
This Fox 17 newscast is sponsored by the Nashville Preds.
In sports, millions of eyes right now on Caitlin Clark, the Iowa Hawkeyes, as they continue their run in the ladies NCAA basketball tournament. Clark's record-breaking career is proof of how women just continue to change and elevate big-time sports.
As Michael Yoshida reports, women's sports are projected to pass the billion-dollar barrier for the first time later this year.
2023 has been called a banner year for women's sports, with the World Cup as well as the NCAA women's basketball tournament fueling media coverage as well as bringing long overdue attention to women's sports. Those we spoke with say the momentum is continuing into 2024.
She's one of the biggest names in sports. Caitlin Clark's record-setting success on the court and beyond, showcasing how women are continuing to take the sports world to new heights.
This isn't a coincidence.
Danette Layton is the CEO of the Women's Sports Foundation. Barrier breaker Billie Jean King started the organization 50 years ago, 2 years after the passing of Title IX.
You're starting to see this transformation finally, but it takes time. It takes time to change gender norms. It takes time for those to understand that we've deserved this for a long time.
In 2023, football stadiums were filled, setting attendance records for women's volleyball and basketball. The Women's World Cup also set new highs for attendance and prize money. And now in 2024, Deloitte predicts revenue generated by women's elite sports will surpass $1 billion for the first time, a total that's up at least 300% from just 3 years ago.
In 2021, we'd be having a conversation like the biggest secret in sports right now is women's sports. That's not the case anymore. I actually maintain that if you're not currently investing in women's sports, you're behind.
Still, gaps between women and men's sports remain, from resources and pay to coaching and leadership opportunities, keeping girls involved in youth sports.
It's not a nice to have, it's a must have for women because those skill sets are lifelong. And I think we're just getting started. I think we're barely putting our toe in the water as it relates to the potential of women's sports.
And when we talk about breaking $1 billion in revenue in women's elite sports, more than half of that coming here from the North American market, around $670 million in revenue predicted this year. In Washington, I'm Michael Yoshida reporting.
It's a newer kind of research in cancer that looks not just at cells, but those that escape. I'm Liz Bonus. We explain just ahead.
Hey there, I'm Jennifer Waddell from the Fox 17 News Morning Show. If you have kids, you certainly know that more and more young people are facing mental health challenges. Why experts say the COVID-19 pandemic changed the way that teenagers interact. We'll take a much closer look at that coming up Tuesday on Fox 17 News This Morning.
The wraps just got better. Now choose 2 wraps for breakfast or 2 hand-breaded chicken wraps for lunch or dinner. Morning to night, get 2 wraps, $5. Hardee's, goodness in the making.
In your health news tonight, new research shows there may be a way to target cells that eavesdrop on other cells in the body.
That's right. As Fox 17 medical reporter Liz Bonus explains, it's important for when cancer cells become resistant, essentially, to treatment.
Hey everybody, this kind of cancer research looking into a whole new frontier. It's still in the laboratory stages, but it shows promise like nothing else.
It's based on the idea when cancer returns, it's often because the cells build up resistance to drugs that initially work to treat them. They also sometimes develop in a whole new place. So Marissa Howard, a bioengineer at George Mason University, has published new research that looks at why. She calls them exosomes.
Basically, exosomes are these little bubbles of cell information that a cell will kick out of it, and it gives that information to its neighbors, to other cell types.
This information is sort of a form of eavesdropping, she says. It tells those other cell types what's happening inside or how it's reacting to the environment. Marissa's discovered a way to isolate exosome packages from tumor cells removed in surgery. The idea is if you could block these packages from coming out, you would have a whole new area to target treatment.
So where are you now in this journey of how we use this information?
Now we're actually applying it to ovarian cancer patients. So as you know, ovarian cancer responds to therapy well in the beginning, but a majority of ovarian cancer patients actually develop drug resistance.
Marissa's team has now launched a clinical trial. They use tissue taken in a biopsy of those with ovarian cancer before or after chemotherapy to find out why a person becomes resistant to treatment compared to those not yet treated.
Since we can unlock this new layer of information, maybe we can provide some benefit for researchers to develop new therapeutic targets.
She told me we're likely at least several years away from a final therapeutic like this, but we do expect to see results from early trials within a couple of years. With your health news, I'm Liz Bonus reporting.
All right, interesting stuff. Okay, we're in a little bit of weather right now, lasting into the overnight hours.
Yeah, it'll be through the overnight, probably the first half of the day for tomorrow as far as lingering rain goes. The most intense part of this system will be between now and about 3 a.m. With wind gusts up to 45, possibly 50 in some spots, maybe higher elevations, and some intense rainfall as well. But